like what the ball is, how many turns they have, who goes yellow card, which is that, you update on online. One video in there. Yeah, finish on your 150. Stop it, Alcy, stop it. Why you act like it's super easy, bro? It's good, right? No, no, not that one. It's easy. You can't do it? No, I can't do it. Yeah. Billy! I need to let me see it too.
do have enough kind of in the bank. They're a very intense side, very clinical side, and I think, yeah, again, have to be on the A game and really not make mistakes to beat them. But I think they do have a good chance today of doing that.
Of course, we've already had one upset in the Cup this afternoon. Hobart United rolling up to Windsor Park and knocking out Riverside at 1-0. So a championship side through to the Final Four.
I do love to see that.
Bit of a cup set. Always good.
Well, I think Hobart United, University, Newtown Eagles, I think if they got the right draw, and Hobart have done that, they can make some noise. So, yeah, that's a great result for them, and see what they can do in the next round.
As Kemp and Charles Bidwell come together in the middle. Looks like Stratos Plomaritis, our man in the middle. I'm going to just guess by the lack of hair there, that must be our man Stratos in the middle for this one. Always a man for the big occasion, Mr. Plomaritis. Here in readiness for this one. Really looking forward to it. And interesting to see who does slide in at centre-back for the Strikers. It's probably the only real question mark over both these sides. Like Hugh Salute starting at centre-back for the Lions, so Downs pushing up into central midfield. Oh, Mees shakes hand with his opposite number, Fernandez Garrido. 2 star number 9s will play key roles this afternoon, to be sure.
A lot of attacking talent on display today. Leon Atkinson's come back into the team and been fantastic in the last few games for Devonport, so keeping an eye on him, but also, as I say, Kobe Kemp, Noah Mees, Keenan Dowse attacking from right back. And that's a physical challenge just to start.
Unlike Jacob Huxley. Throw his weight about early on.
Looks to be in a little bit of trouble, Garrido, but he's slowly making his way back up.
That is classic Huxley. Loves that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think do have some physical players on both teams. Another one for the challenge you see on screen there, Charles Bidwell. I love to see him just attack the ball. Very tenacious midfielder. So they've, I guess they've already put a little bit of a warning shot in there early in the cup tie, just to make sure that people aren't thinking that it's going to be all one way. It's too easy there at the back, but looking to get it back underway with Leon Atkinson now.
Rolling the cavalry forward. Defence has gone up for this free kick. LA back in favour of the Portraits. He swings one in looking for Barton. Comfortably through for Rowan Gillum. We've seen Nick Lanau Atkinson on the fringe of this Devonport team for a couple of years now, but seems to be having a consistent run at it for the first time in a few seasons. And he was a real star back in his Northern Rangers days. He's back out there.
Yeah, it looks like Max Ressig's come in to play centre-back for Devonport, at least to start. So that's who's slid over to into the back four, the absence of Moroney. Since for long, Dollar does make a bit of a mistake for Dowse to poke through, and Keaton Smith not really troubled there, but just a bit of a casual defensive effort there from Malidor. You're probably not wanting him back there too much, but he will have a lot of tracking to do today with Keenan Dowse, who does like to get on the overlap.
Surprised Keenan opted to shoot there. Had a couple in the middle.
Yeah.
He'd been better off just trying to pick out. His Ahmed Othman go back to Rowan Gillum. Impressed with Othman in the opening weeks of the MPL campaign, and another pretty attack-minded fullback. They've got a pair of them who really get up and down those flanks. Ian Dowse.
It'd be interesting to see how kind of wide their front three play for leaving those wide spaces for their fullbacks maybe to overlap a little bit more. It looks like Prince is sort of drifting centrally at the moment. There's a bit of a tangle on the ball, but Kingborough come away with it now. Right back into midfield and sent forward. Downs there, and it's cut out and shot forward out looking for Duller. One-on-one with Keenan Dowse now, a little bit on an island. But gets a bit of help from his midfield now. Bidwell shoots and slips over on the way through and trickles out of bounds for a little goal kick. Devonport's first real period of control possession there.
A little eager there. Charles Bidwell pulling the trigger. Didn't quite catch it as he would have liked, but he and Taylor Last, really impressive. That midfield combination they've struck up. Some real gun youngsters in the state, and already fairly experienced campaigners despite their relative youth.
Yeah, I'm amazed how well Devonport just are able to refresh. Like, they do bring the imports in. You've got Garrido, you've got Bennett, but the real core of the side is to be able to bring those young players through. Like Last in particular is so impressive on the ball, but Bidwell does a lot for their team as well.
Yeah, it's such a hard team to crack that once you get in there, you really got to earn it. As Hess looks to get something going, he's got Offman surging up down the left in support. Offman rolling it through, but won't make its way to Noah Mees. Garrido doing the hold-up work and doing it expertly. Lanau Atkinson now chipping it over the top, trying to spring Brody Dennehy. Huxley blocking that one off. There they go. Declan Taylor getting a start today, and Kansos have had opportunities to try and nail down a starting spot. They've always shown flashes this season. They've probably both had their best performances coming off the bench, to be honest. This one's lofted in the Kemp direction. Wants it down to Barton. Ali Dilla sent off in the league last week, but that only applies the suspension to MPL games. So
that was something I didn't actually know. I was seeing him out there. I was like, oh, that's an interesting name on team sheet. But here he is, threatening off the wing again. One-on-one with Dowse, and slid ball in and chopped out. Out for a Devonport corner. Always threatening down those wings. They do have a lot of flexibility in that front kind of four positions. You've got Dennehy on the park and Garrido and Lano Atkinson and Dula, all very interchangeable players. Here's Garrido now. He can sort of float anywhere from the number 9 position out into the wings. Sends it onto the back stick and it's headed away by Kemp. Challenge ball. Lano Atkinson looking for the left and spreading it out wide. Garrido cutting inside, and there's another ball into the back stick and off kind of almost the back area of Nick Lano Atkinson, but Dennehy looks like he's sort of playing a little bit more central today, and kind of back in that 10 position where actually Luke Bennett has been a little bit more active in the last few weeks, but Lano Atkinson out on the right wing for now. He cut inside. Kingborough can't progress it past Bidwell.
Prince breaks it up and works it to Taylor, who doesn't have a lot of support, so just tries to take it around the outside of Barton, who quickly shuts that down.
I'm interested to see that Toby Barton hasn't actually gone into centre-back. He's quite a almost an underlapping fullback, but obviously very happy with how he's been playing in there and the stability they give him. They give Devonport from the left-hand side. It's a beautiful bit of footwork there from Barton, speak of the devil, and gets a little free kick.
Drew it expertly, Dom Smith, another veteran basically of this team. Kind of from the age of 16 has pretty much cemented his spot at left back at Devonport, and I don't think anyone else has occupied it in about the 7 years or so he's been there. He's really made it his own.
Yeah, he's just moved back into that central position this year really, and Barton's kind of come across, but yeah, very now experienced campaigner.
He's always a very defensive-minded fullback was the thing. So
yes,
I think that
him and Park together a little bit. Park probably a little bit more back when he was in the team, came back on. But yeah, looking for a little bit more, I guess, Murati, a little bit more dribbling skill, potentially. Attack-mindedness, as Devonport get another free kick. For you to start this game, Lano Atkinson's left, he's floated way up high. Well, Gillen comes and flaps at it, and just Downs pokes it away in the end to safety, relative safety of the Devonport corner kick now. But a little bit hairy there. Devonport do like to lump those high balls in from both the corner and the set pieces, and looking for the tall timber of Smith and Mulroney when he's in the team. And obviously Kingborough just in a little bit of swirling wind today. It's going to be a bit of a challenging one as Lano Atkinson looks to do it again. He does float that one quite high. It's a free header away, again by Kemp. Bidwell chips it back up, and Smith, or Dennehy, sorry, was offside. Didn't challenge for it. Well won by Mees. Kingborough look to launch a counter-attack. Dennehy with a little slip ball through to Garrido, who just chopped out again by the Kingborough defence.
Lions will try and get something going back the other way, but again,
for those direct balls, aren't they?
broken up by Barton, who was it in there? Dollar. Quite patient, usually their MO.
Yeah, I think especially with Tom Ballantyne coming in, they've really looked to play a lot more, I guess a little bit slower in their build-up, I'd say. Happy to possess the ball at the back and with their defensive midfielders.
Build from the back once more here. Broken up though. This occasion chipped forward into the direction of Noah Mees, flicked on. Barton pressured there by Vivarelli. It's into a bit of a scrap, and referee blows a free kick to relieve the pressure on the strikers. Way of Barton, really getting the nod central midfield today. They look to build down the right now, Devonport. Othman defending his flank nicely.
Looks a bit congested down that right side so far. I feel like Devonport have had a little bit of a better time when they've switched it out to the near side here. It's the back of Kingborough player. Atkinson, beautiful little ball through, but chopped out in the end and dealt with calmly. And again, Kingborough looking for that quick ball through to Mees, and again, a little bit overhit, a little bit impatient, I would say, in some ways.
They're not really clicking the final third thus far, is it, for the Lions in this opening 10 minutes? Haven't really been able to link up there. As long ball, Denny does pretty well up against Prince. Prince just leans on him in the end, back in the starting lineup today after his red card. Lonnie City saw him out. Dilla now combining nicely. He combines with the Spaniard, who equalled Braden Mann's record for scoring consecutive NPL Tas games last week. He scored in his last 10, so in hot form, and he's looming large here. Dangerous. Gillum comes out, deals with the threat. The striker's starting to get a little bit of joy playing those balls into the penalty area.
Down to the cosh right now. Kingborough really not being able to get Kobe Kemp in the game, which is always a hallmark of when Kingborough playing well, and Kemp gets done by Dulla. And Carrito, he's hit the crossbar with a very good shot from outside the box. Curling effort. And for a minute I thought that was sailing well over, but just dipped in, and Devonport very unlucky not to hit the score sheet.
A little bit of wind at play here that they're kicking right into the teeth of, and it just dipped it down, not quite enough. I'm with you, I thought initially, well over the top, and then suddenly the woodwork was rattled. But, that's the threat of Robbie Garrido. He has been supreme since the moment he came down here to Tasmania. A great signing for this Strikers team. Your talisman leading the line. Dulla's been busy early on. Looks that one back. Max Racing into the team for Mulroney. They'll just pass it around the back once more. Smith to Bidwell, pressured there, but Taylor, Kemp, Mees trying to press the defensive winner back, having no joy so far. Bidwell got a man riding shotgun, Brody Dennehy. Brody Dennehy swings it in and put behind by Tom Prince for a corner.
He's had a lot of work to do already. Kemp gets done by Dulla, well so far,
and Carrito hit the crossbar with a very good shot from outside the box.
Quality effort there for Fernandez Garrido, and he's over the ball again. It's floated up, and Gillum comes, punches well. Clears the danger so far. Bidwell, who's playing a little bit deeper today. Out to Garrido, again floating it up. Like Wilson in there. And Bidwell again. It's a good challenge by Prince, but he's injured himself in the process. And Dulla gets it on the left. Call for offside by the Kingborough defence there, but it's held up now. But very dangerous little counter effort there with a little bit of chaos with the Kingborough midfield all down, and Douse with his hand up, and Gillum ends up dealing with it well at the near post, but just one of those ones where you switch off for a couple of seconds against this Devonport team, and they are likely to punish here. They do escape there, Kingborough, for now.
Yeah, I think Huxley was playing him onside in the middle there. And
it didn't really look like a one that Douse should have had his hand up for, but again, miscommunications at the back do happen like that.
We're out of hope that anything
potentially
bail me out, AR. Well done by Gillum at the near stick anyway. First main test he's faced so far in the opening quarter of an hour. It's a good stoppage here for the Lions, obviously caused by two players of theirs coming together they don't want to see, but I think they just need a minute to regroup here and just reassess things. They've really struggled to maintain possession so far. Asking any questions of the strikers' defence.
Yeah, it's really just been cut out that ball, and then it's really been Devonport almost winning that second ball. Haven't had a lot of options. I think how they get their front three structure right. Try and find Mees, I guess, as a hold-up option, but he's been crowded out of it so far. If they can hit his feet more and then play off him, that's really the outlet that they need to be looking at. But again, it's just been straight under pressure when they have had the ball, and Devonport have been so clean, like there from Bidwell. Beautiful little hold-up play, but pressed by Prince in the end. Oh, sorry, not Prince. Taylor. I don't know why I'm getting those two mixed up. Ottman on the left, and thrown back in towards Taylor. Barton deals with it in the end. It's Bidwell to Dennehy. There's been a lot of space out on this left-hand side for Devonport so far. It doesn't end up driving it, Brody Dennehy. And again, just stops to recycle through Ressig. Poked out wide. Maradi. Deep ball in. One there for him in the end. And again, a miscommunication, but I think they're on the same page in some ways, but just Dowse almost getting in the way of the ball. Not one that you really want to cop, just one to the back of the head. Flicked on by Mees. And Devonport again collecting, but we're being able to get a little bit of territory at least now. Sends it forward towards Kemp. Touch, and does make it to his feet in the end. It's not wide. It's Ahmed Ottman. Good tackle out there by Maradi. And he does win a free kick in the end on the end of that one-on-one challenge.
Lions starting to look a little more dangerous than that attack, and no coincidence that Kobe Kemp got on the ball in an advanced position for the first time. Still
a very difficult ball for him to get onto. I wouldn't say it's a very high percentage kind of ball in there from Dowse. Just a little bit more patience. I found that Kingborough probably in the last few years can get a little bit direct at times.
I reckon part of that is Kemp's aerial prowess.
Yeah, true.
They get a little tempted just to, he wins all the headers, we'll just knock it up there. Get it done.
I think he's so good on the ball though as well. Yeah. If you can get it to him, explore those spaces and use him as a kind of tempo controller at times. But against Devonport, they'll be creating most of the tempo in most matchups, I think. And a little 1-2 doesn't quite come off there for Lee Diller and Brady Dennehy.
Won the last two editions of this. I'm reliably informed by the stats man Ben Smith. Around the 16-20-20, the last time Devonport strikers suffered defeat in the Lakoseljac Cup.
It's a pretty amazing record, really.
It was Launceston City that day, and that was quite the upset. So, got to go back a long way, but maybe Kingborough can take some heart from that.
Yeah, we were just sort of talking pre-game in some ways. I think Devonport haven't necessarily hit their straps this year, at least in the NPL. They've been good enough to win games, and obviously they're a very clinical team. But at least in the games I've seen, I wouldn't say they've been lucky or anything like that, but they've had a little bit of tougher going scoring freely, if that makes sense. But again, they do the job, so you can't really complain. As Kingborough get a little, just a little kind of interplay at the top of the box there. So that's probably their first kind of real foray into threatening Devonport line, but Ottman span back inside, thinking Mees was there, but not to be.
Starting to get involved, the fullback here. Chance for him to cross one now and goes in the Mees direction. Just floats over the top of Kemp, and then the shot follows up and deflects just wide. That could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, it was a tense deflection in the end. Smith dived for that. Again, not really threatening the goal, but again, Kemp jumping for it and spilled to Mees at the top of the box, and such a trusty shot off both feet. And the Smith foot in almost did his namesake in the Devonport goal. Just takes the corner of the near post and put away by Dennehy. Yeah, Kingborough starting to find their way into the game a little bit now. We'll have to see. It slips over as he plays that ball. Just can't spot the ball. And then he corralling it. Smith fought aggressively and really good header away. It's Kemp now. Kemp and Mees combining. To Bidwell. Duller again out in space on this left. Gus comes in aggressively, gets a foot on it, but then he overlaps. A lot of complaining in the Kingborough penalty area, looking for an offside. I don't think it was there, and ends up going out for another Devonport corner. I've had quite a few in this opening 20 minutes. Hasn't been the most... I guess without Mulroney there, they don't have quite the as much tall team to aim at. It's a better ball through, and Kemp again making these defensive headers for the corner. Ball tries a little spin. Doesn't get onto it. Trying to release Mees, just a little bit too central for big Kingborough striker. And a little bit more energy in this game. I'm starting to see Kingborough just again finding their way in, and I think they're pretty comfortable actually fielding those aerial balls from Devonport today. Be more worried about this sort of action, ball in behind, and the combination play. The quick little wingers and excellent attacking midfielders Devonport have. Spread into the middle to Downs. Switches out wide, looking for Dowse, who's overlapped, and it's a little bit too deep for him. Again, Kingborough just a little bit more of the ball and starting to find a few more midfield combinations, and that's what you want to see. You want to get those little 1-2s and then release those wide players like Dowse, like Taylor.
From the back, strikers will look to build once more. They've coughed it up a little softly there, straight to Offman. Offman wants Greg Downs. He loves to play those raking through balls. Greg Downs, he issued it off to Dowse. Kobe Kemp will get involved here. Kemp rolling it centrally for Mees, who just immediately retreats back to Hess of the Matthew variety. Rather on the touchline, not in the starting lineup today. I've seen a little bit of the player coach this year, as this one just eludes Mees. Didn't quite control it there. To be getting those balls, getting those attackers into play. Such a key link man as well as a goal scorer. Mine's big number 9. What star he has been in this league for a number of years now.
Just a unique player, I'd say, at his size, with such good foot skills, but also aerial prowess, and can unleash a shot from anywhere. Really seen some great goals already this season, especially in that Kingborough Clarence game. It was absolute crackers from both teams as Devonport on the attack. Lana Atkinson jinking dribble and cut out in the end.
That was a ridiculous game of football, that one. The goals in that game of the highest quality.
Yeah, I only saw the highlights, but oh my lord, there were some goals. Oh, and that's an interesting little ball through. Sends Gillen flying, but Dowse reliably watching Duller at the back post.
That was the first touch from Robbie Garrido there, and then the cross takes the keeper.
No one gambling really, but only he saw that. Sometimes you've just got to trust that something's going to happen when he's got the ball.
Exactly where you'd want to.
Absolutely. I feel like I'd see some Miles Barnard action off the bench today. And I feel like that's the sort of area that he will be looking to latch onto if he does see time on the pitch.
Big Cup quarter final. He loves the big occasion, the Fox in the box. He'll be chomping at the bit to get out there, no doubt. He'll be in his manager's ear all afternoon. Get me on, boss.
As a former teammate of Miles at university, he's a very persuasive presence.
Very good.
Very charismatic. But yeah, absolutely, very good goal scorer. Best goal I've ever seen live. We will not shut up about this one he scored against Eagles back in the day. All getting old now. Anyway, back to the game. we'll stop down West Football Club lane. But yeah, interesting to see if Barnard does get on the park today. Has scored some big goals in cup games, that's for sure.
Including on the national stage in the FFA Cup, now Australia Cup. Scored that wonderful goal outside the box. So now Atkinson shipping it through, but
Reverse ball.
can't find anyone. Now Alidullah in a little bit of space. Rolls it on. Big chance here. Garrido through the legs. 1-0 Devonport. Their Spanish hitman does the job again. He just can't stop scoring. Roberto Fernandez Garrido gets the chance, slides it through the wickets. 1-0 Devonport.
Great little slip pass from Alidullah there. Just a little bit of lackadaisical defending, I'd say, by Kingborough. Weren't quite switched on to shutting him down quick enough, and that was a beautiful little slip to pass through. And Garrido just, again, that change of pace, so good, and again, just beats his man to it and slips it through the legs of Gillam for a 1-0 lead. Very cool, calm finish. Again, going under the keeper can be a reliable option, and shows it there.
It's always a tough one for keepers. You kind of like got to block as much space off either side as it can with the left and right leg, and that can just open up the gap.
Gillam didn't do a lot wrong there. When you're shooting from that angle, really, if it's not straight at your body, you're pretty low chance of making a save. And Kingborough now, 25 minutes gone. Now they've got to really start to regroup and just, they were edging their way into the game, and that's kind of given that life. Kind of snuffed it out a little bit at the moment. And it's Devonport on the front foot again. Garrido again taking on 3 Kingborough players. Being chopped out that time. Good fence, and no one really has an outlet at the moment for Kingborough off those clearances. This is where Devonport, they just can really turn the screws on you. Just let you not have a lot of the ball or a lot of territory, and just got to really stick at it and really believe that you can get into the game and stick with your game plan for as long as you can.
Well, they did that really well against South Hobart last week, actually, Devonport. Just that second half, they were down a man, but South, I think, if they got back to 2-1, didn't really create a chance in that entire second half. They didn't get anything. They just shut the game down really professionally, ground out the result. And it is just a team that knows how to win football games.
Yeah, I'd say that was the same with the Lonnie City game earlier in the year as well. Just probably a 2-0 win and sending off City. But there were 2 kind of mistakes from City, and Devonport, after that first goal went in off the penalty, they just didn't let them have anything really. Before that, it seemed like City did have a bit of a sniff, but again, they can just snuff your torch, to use some survivor parlance.
Tribe has spoken.
Yes. Get Jeff Probus on that, or
we get Jeff in the combox. That would just make my year, Alex.
Yeah, he's one of the greats, not of the world's, I guess, 5th sport in some ways, Survivor. No, back to the game again. Devonport again, yeah, he's turning that ball over in the Kingborough midfield so easily. Dullah's back on it. Cuts inside, hopes to shoot, and really feel that convinced about pulling the trigger powerfully at least. Dullah just trying to kind of weave one in there into the near stick.
Inviting danger at the moment with these constant turnovers. Can't get a hold of the ball.
Yeah.
It's just putting their defence under constant pressure.
Just again a little bit aimless there. Again, they're probably looking for Meese's head, but just overhit and no one really running off the back of it. Mid sends it forward. Does find Meese's head this time, and that kind of second ball, crumbing ball. Righties. Again, he's very composed in that right back position. By Wilson. Spreads it over to Smith. It's just that control that Devonport have. Devonport just finding his way out of that tight space. I thought they would have had an opportunity. Long ball gets taken out of the air by Othman, and working with Hess. Back to Hess. Again, Kingborough can find a bit of the ball now and just see if they can find some more forward passing now. It's a bit of a speculative ball there from Taylor. Whipping ball off the left foot. I don't think it was ever really threatening Keegan Smith's goal, but again, they can get that controlled possession. They are not really causing problems for Devonport yet, I'd say, but at least posing some questions and taking the pressure off their defence. It's Douse with a beautiful one-on-one challenge. Hess and spreads it out to Othman, who has had a little bit of space out on this left full-back position. Controlling it. Brings it Huxley. Douse now. Try to get a little bit of a press, and works in the end as Barton able to step in front of some Kingborough players and just calmly nod it to Max Ressig. Just recycled again. Barton, Duller. Happy to kind of, feels like I can't create a little channel to run into. And I know Atkinson was running into one there. Doesn't find him though. Ressig to Duller. One-on-one situation again. Doesn't get through this time. Sent forward. Kemp, but past him. Taylor done a bit of defensive work here. On the ball twice. Bobbled ball up to Mees. Can't control that one. Just Sting gone out of the game just a little bit here after that goal. Again, Kingborough, I think, is trying to work their way in rather than... Still a long time to go in this game. So that's the thing they have to really keep reminding themselves of.
Yes, whilst it remains at 1-0, just one moment away from parity. Takes one ball to spring over the top and they can get back on terms, but at the moment, we'll just stifle them for the time being.
Almost like just thinking they haven't been quite as direct, but just holding possession almost twofold, it almost feels like.
It's an effective way of killing the game off, making them chase your tails all afternoon, moving the ball around and don't need to overextend themselves as a rare misplaced pass. Straight out there will give Othman the chance as we tick past half an hour here. 1-0 courtesy of the Spaniard. The man on screen there, Roberto Fernandez Garrido, continuing his incredible goal scoring form, and that pass rather sums up the first 3 minutes from the Lions. It's just been a little bit directionless. They've not been able to link up with their attacking players. It's been constant pressure they've faced at the back.
Yeah, even when they have had a little bit of possession, it's really walled off from that front three, especially into Mees. He does get it now. It's a good little slid ball through, looking for this head of Kemp. Just nicked away from him there at the end by Smith. It's back into Hess. Bidwell making a really good challenge, but fine as far as Ottman. Kemp does earn a free kick there in a very dangerous position for Kingborough.
Well, there'll be a raffle on over this one. Greg Downs and Kobe Kemp, both very good. Keenan Douse, another one. Kemp, more often than not these days, doesn't take the direct kicks because he's such a good aerial option, but we've got 3 who are excellent over a dead ball.
It's very all earned from Kobe Kemp there. Just attacked the ball nicely and felt the hands in the back from Barton and earned a very dangerous free kick. The ones you really practice in training, but I guess the part of that is difficult is going up and down over this wall.
Almost rather at 5 yards back.
Yes, yeah, it might be almost a little bit too close.
Greg Downs will take. Yeah, just couldn't quite get it down. It's out to the right. Could be their avenue back into this one. Get a set piece in advanced areas. Been one of the best set piece teams in the NPL so far this season.
Traditionally always have a few players who are threatening from that position. At least there for Kingborough, both, I guess, that last kind of 5 minutes, able to find Mees out on the left and into Kemp in a much more dangerous position. That's really what they're trying to do a little bit more of. 50-50 ball. Well, it goes the way of Devonport.
Taken away from Garrido, rolled down the right 2 in the middle here. Dennehy and Fernandez Garrido. It's Dennehy over his head. Ali Dullah. His shot was charged down. And they're getting back. He looks to win the ball away from him too. And nicely done by Declan Taylor. As the strikers threatened for a moment. Ali Dullah, I think the strikers will be very happy that suspension only applies to the league and not the cap, because he's been pretty influential thus far.
Yeah, I was just also observing there. Taylor's been coming back a lot more defensively since the goal here, and Dulla's been a little bit more quelled in that, a little bit less space to work with, and that's maybe being able to release Kemp to play a little bit further forward, and there he is on the ball. Just gets left behind by Offman out there. Swings back on his right, and a little challenging ball there for Smith. Does take that fairly comfortably in the end, but had to take that one on half volley.
That passage of play is more what they're looking for,
Yeah,
isn't
absolutely.
it? He's getting up, holds up the ball, brings his others in there.
Yeah.
Bit of space opened up on the left, just not quite the final execution, but first time today that one of those long balls has kind of been brought down and controlled. Played back to the midfield.
Yes.
At the time they've just been turning it over so far.
Yeah, that was a great little piece of play. And again, getting Kemp kind of in space, play that ball out wide, and had a bit of space out there on the far side with Upman choosing to have a shot. It's a characteristic challenge by Bidwell. And he goes so hard at the ball. Won it cleanly the first time, and again, it's getting a little bit tangled with Greg Downs, and going out just for a throw. Taylor is not at the path of Kemp. Smith deals with it, and it's corralled by Devonport. Followed by Hugh Sleeves. Again, just out of the necessity, really, just to clear that one, making sure that it's not going through, but just that little extra bit of composure out of the back for Kingborough. Kind of, I feel like that's a missing link to their game so far today. Duller, another brilliant bit of skill. Can't find his strike partner, Garrido. Taylor back to help out his right back in Douse. Sends the ball forward, looking for Mees. It is in space for him, and he always gets there. And Eli Wilson, centre back replacement for Ryan, has just sent that one out. Actually ended up being a really good ball from Douse. For Mees, found him in a little bit of space. So Kingborough finding a little bit more of it now, and he's starting to press for this equaliser. It's Taylor getting on his left foot. It's a good little shot from Declan Taylor in the end. And Smith had to find his good dive and a nice little palm over the bar. Just didn't quite have... Yeah, it's sort of knuckled, actually, that ball. A little bit of a floating knuckle ball. And King Smith, evasive action, and tips it over the bar.
Yeah, called into action for the first time today. He had to be alert, Smith. That one was just dipping underneath, and good little fingertip save. One you expect the keeper to make, but still had to get up to it. And the Lions just starting to warm to the task a little here as Keenan Douse stands over this corner. He sends it to the back post. Hugh Sloot was his target, but deflected away, and Dennehy blasts it long. 2-on-2 up the field, but Hess first to it. Wasn't a good ball from Hess, though. Straight to Bidwell, and now perhaps an opening for the Strikers. Charging off towards goal is Fernandez Garrido. Deflected back into the path of Bidwell. Garrido, Bidwell just lofting one over the top. Ali Dulla, good save, Gillum. Got across and kept it out as Dulla just trying to lift it into the far corner. Wasn't far away either.
He's got that super casual style about him, where you think, oh, geez, that doesn't really hit that well, but he's just tried to poke it past Gillum, and geez, that almost hit the side netting there. So, again, those just little slip passes, bouncing balls at the top of the box of Kingborough is looking very threatening for Devonport so far. And great little counter-attack for Devonport. They can do it in all sorts of ways. They can kill you with possession, and they can counter you, they can counter-press you. Just a very solid outfit. But again, Kingborough really finding themselves on the ball. Slips past Barton. Douse is making his overlapping run. Doesn't drive, and it's blocked in the end. Does look for those early balls to Mees. I think at times probably could go to the byline just a little bit more than he does, but he does have very good delivery on those crosses. He's a corner taker for Kingborough. And again, with Mees and Kemp in there, you do want to get up high for them. Aggressive. Comes on a little bit late from Kemp, or yeah. Referee does end up paying that one. This gets pulled back to where the foul actually occurred. Smith, who's just settled the Devonport side back down. So as we sort of amble towards half-time here, Kingborough, I think they'll feel encouraged that they have had some more chances and they've had more of the ball and more of it in threatening areas. Devonport always so dangerous that you can't really switch off at any point of the game, but they'll feel encouraged that they can get something out of this game after going 1-0 down.
Abdullah now in down the left. The flag was raised. Much to the relief of Rowan Gillum.
For a second there, I put the mockers on. Like, yeah, they'll look settled down. Oh, goal straight.
Yeah, suddenly some room for Abdullah, but that was due to him just straying a tad, not due to any commentator curses being applied. Big final few minutes before halftime break coming up here for the Lions. Since they're just starting to get back into this one. Abdullah very busy down this left-hand side. Smith in a long searching ball. Clear by Prince. Never really did, well, initially to control it, and gifted it back to the strikers. Prince turning to the lineup. His suspension in the MPL as Offman switches this one up. Barton nods away. Downs. Hess. Broken up though by Lano Atkinson, who chips it over the top, trying to spring a couple. Ooh. Gillum got it there, didn't quite deal with it. Dennehy tries to lob it back in. The tuck back there was Prince. It was a little bit dicey there for the Lions keeper. He didn't deal with the situation.
No, it didn't really help that he hit someone and fell down as well. Not what you want to see, ball just looping towards Brodie Dennehy while you're on your back. But again, there was enough pressure on the ball that he didn't get a clean kind of hook at it. And recovering from Prince. But these little bouncing balls just cause a lot of chaos. Very hard to deal with for any defender. Sort of worrying about 5 things at once. Hess does take that one down for Kingborough. That's Kemp. Taylor and just behind him a little bit. Miscommunication there from the Lions attackers. Again, that's the sort of thing they do want to at least seize. It's getting that ball in that more advanced area and having open players to play the ball to. I think that's just the call there from the Lions leadership in Dowse, who's out there now, just to stay positive.
Hughley. What, where he meant that one to go?
Yeah, he's left back under a lot of pressure there, but he's been comfortable enough on the ball just to look forward and then go back when he couldn't. And interesting little switch to Prince, and Bidwell cuts that one out. Garrido finds some space in the box, looks to lay it back for Dula. Just rolls past him. Kimber looked to a counter-attack with knees. Got some run over on his left-hand side. Just leaves it behind Noah Amies. And again, that early cross. Really made the run into the box from midfield. It's going to work back now, Simon Vivarelli. Murati just playing the simple ball to Wilson. Just chipping it up the line to... looking for Lano Atkinson. Downs. Taylor is floated inside. Kept kind of floating out to the right-hand side. The battling ball in there with Vivarelli, but the ball come away with it. Garrido looks it forward to Dulla in a ton of space. Kingborough trying to recover, but they can't, and he slots it so calmly. Ali Dullo, in characteristic style, puts Devonport up 2-0.
Yeah, some lovely work there from Fernandez Garrido to team up. There was just open field everywhere. We've seen him getting forward down the left into space, and suddenly it just all opened up for him here. Garrido knew it. He just had to get the ball past Prince, and they were on here. First time ball, perfect. And at this point, it all just comes down to the finish, and that is just finesse. Perfectly into the corner. That's the old right bumper on FIFA. Just bang, pick out the corner, no issues. Can't finish it better than that.
Absolutely. That you could just see his eyes light up there, Garrido, when he realised Dulla's in that much space. And Thought for a second that he kind of almost gave Kingborough enough time to recover, but he was just sort of lining up that back corner and found it beautifully. So it's a bit of a disheartener for Kingborough to concede this close to half-time, and after kind of working their way back into the game, leave the back door open, and Devonport will just waltz right through it.
It's a gut punch, isn't it? One goal, we think, it's still manageable. We just got to create one chance. Now you're staring them out, and I don't know the last time Devonport ceded a 2-goal lead to anyone. You'd have to go back a decade just about, I reckon. They are not a team that tend to give up leads, so the Lions have really got their work cut out for them now.
Absolutely. All you can do is just look for that first goal, see if you can get one, and then if you've got time, all from there, put them under pressure. But again, that's just a sign of just how clinical Devonport are. You just can't make mistakes against the side. They'll really take advantage. That's just another example there. Maybe a little bit over-aggressive, and Dilla staying high, and Garrido drawing all the centre-backs in, and as he does. He almost looked like he could have taken that one himself for a second there as well. So just scrambling to get back in position. But Kingborough with Mees floating one up. Douse, good position, but Della tracked his run. His crosses have been spot on. It's just a pity he's not crossing it to himself in
Flown himself. So Keenan Douse standing over the corner here. Final minute of regulation in the first half. Lions need an avenue back in, and they almost find one as Tom Prince got there and volleyed it over the top. A sharp chance, he just couldn't keep it down. Great delivery from Douse. That would have been a huge goal just before the half here.
Yeah, that would have given them such confidence going in. Great delivery from Douse, looking in his post. And very good leap from Prince, getting in front of Dennehy. Just floating it over. They're hard to keep down when you're jumping, when you're on the up. You're going to have to get really over them, but if you are close enough, sometimes you'll find the roof of the net. Just not to be that time for Kingborough. Those set pieces, they are always dangerous for the Lions, and especially with Kieran Mulroney out. I think they'll fancy themselves a little bit more than you normally would against a striker's outfit. It's Kemp. Taylor, just again, behind Declan Taylor. Seemed like they are having a bit more of a plan, but again, that near side wide open for Dennehy to run into, and Dulla's also over there now. Swarming Garrido off it, and not able to get it out to the overload they had out here. Taylor's on through and trying to release Douse, who stayed up. Footing Keenan Douse, and a bit of a contested ball. Try for a handball, and going out for play as well. Just waiting to see whether this is a free kick or a throw.
Defence screaming at Keenan Douse to get back and cover. Don't want to leave Ali Dully room down the left again.
Interesting that he was still up there after the last time. You did see the door was wide open again. But again, you've got to... It's that balance between, using one of your best attacking outlets as from fullback, and making sure you're not giving anything away. Foul committed by Garrido on Douse in the end.
I suppose by necessity, second half they're going to have to keep flinging those fullbacks forward, and that's just going to invite the space for the strikers behind. But when you're chasing the game, you don't really have a choice in the matter, do you?
It's interesting though, because I thought almost their best passage of play was when Taylor was coming back a little bit more, and they were using Kemp, and Mees kind of has more hold up kind of options. It's just those two and keeping things solid, but obviously hasn't happened in these last couple as Ottman cuts in. Blocked on shot from outside the box. He's been a little bit of an option for them, actually. He's been getting forward too, but I don't think Devonport have had nearly the space on that left-hand side to counter, at least. That's probably nature of Lano Atkinson drifting inside a little bit more. Douse himself trips inside from right back. Good little ball out wide, finds Kobe Kemp. Make a good cross now. It's a whip ball. He's just a little bit further away from it as Devonport now just look to control it, and there goes the half-time whistle as we pass the first half of this Lakoseljac Cup matchup. It's Devonport 2, Kingborough 0. Two very calm chances taken by Devonport, and it's been a really good half of football. But again, Devonport just so clinical, and it's a much deserved lead for them as they head into the break.
Yeah, they are a ruthlessly efficient football side. They just know how to win games, and they're well on the way here this afternoon. 2-0 the scoreline. Fernandez Garrido and Ali Dullah, the goal scorers. They just take their chances. And that was Garrido hitting the post early on. The warning signs were there as the strikers dominated territorially. Eventually you felt a goal was coming. They didn't have to wait too long as Ali Dullah would eventually score it. His shot on target early on. Came shortly after that one. 2-0 down. It's going to be a bit of a mountain to climb for the Lions in the second half.
They've definitely had their chances, I think. They probably have to get one fairly soon to really have a sniff. But yeah, I think Devonport definitely the better team in that first half. But it is cup football and anything can happen. And I kind of hope it will in the second half. And there's the goal. It's just a beautifully taken goal from Fernandez Garrido there.
Lovely weighted ball from Dullah too. But yeah, look, for the neutral here, I think we'd love a Lions goal early in the second half just to bring this one to life. Devonport, I'm sure, will be quite happy to grind out 45 minutes of absolute nothingness and book their place in the semi-final. We hopefully get the former and we get an exciting second half for you. Ali Dullah almost scored there. He would score soon thereafter. But we'll be back in around about a quarter of an hour time with the second half here at KG5, where the current holders on their mission for a three-peat, the Devonport Strikers, are well on the way to the Final Four. They lead 2-0 at half-time.
And he slots it so calmly. Ali Dullah in characteristic
Style puts Devonport up 2-0.
Yeah, some lovely work there from Fernandez over the corner here. Final minute of regulation in the first half. Lions need an avenue back in, and they almost find one as Tom Prince got there and volleyed it over the top. A sharp.
No, last night, no, in the morning. Last night I catch that quick. What did you catch in the window? I won.
So welcome back for the second half here at KG5. The Strikers are keen. They're back out there well in advance of the Kingborough Lions, sitting pretty with a 2-0 lead. The Lions unsighted, maybe Freddie Hess just with a few words for his side. Try and turn things around as now Atkinson has a laugh with Mr. Plomaridis in the middle there. Now the Lions returning to action. So, Alex, what do you think Kingborough can do to try and get themselves back into this game here in the second half, staring down the barrel of a 2-goal deficit? What would your approach be if you were in Freddie Hess's shoes?
Oh, it's a tough question. I think they have looked best when they can get it into the feet of their two, I guess, talisman players in Kemp and Mees. Just a little bit more composure from the back in at least finding those searching balls, and also set pieces have actually looked pretty good for them today, but haven't yet found the back of the net thus far off one of them. But I think they'll really be trying to focus on at least on those two areas as we're back underway quickly. Garrido and then spreading it out wide to Dula quickly. But yeah, it is a tough proposition to stare down. 2-0 down to Devonport at half-time in a Lakoseljac Cup game, but stranger things have happened. Moriarty goes forward and fouls. Yes. A little late whistle there from Stratos. Moriarty looks like he's in a little bit of pain. And a pretty threatening position here for Devonport. Lano Atkinson on the left boot will be making his chops. Definite. Didn't get the ball, I don't think, the Ottman. He's pushed him straight into Matt Hess, and that's where the pain has been felt from Moriarty.
Yeah, I think the correct decision there. Definitely a push.
Yeah, it's a little
straight hand in the eye, maybe.
Yeah, just a chop of the ankles as well in the passage of play before that, and blocked off. But took a little bit of time to think about it, and that's okay. But with those ones, Kingborough defenders' point of view, it's kind of hard to take when you get your head up and you're a player, and then no, it's getting pulled back in a pretty threatening position. Again, this will be, I think, Lano Atkinson trying to look for the. Maybe they will cross it in if it's gone a little bit wider. I thought where the free kick is taken from, but he may look to just try and willy-on this one into the kind of far top corner. A few men up on the back stick as well. Probably be Bidwell if they do take that option. Lano Atkinson has gone, just looking for the head of Toby Barton, and underneath it and chipped it over the top. I think we'll be happy that one isn't anywhere near the back of the net. Didn't end up shooting, but a nice little ball into the penalty spot, and Kingborough getting away with one there. Already 2-0 down. They would not want to concede early in this first half. That would be a real killer. You want to be at least... obviously trying to push for the result, but pushing to play good football and looking for a way that you can maybe challenge this Devonport side and offer them something to really think about. And also push on, I guess, for the rest of the season as well in developing that style of play against quality opposition. There's Bidwell and Kemp for a 50-50 ball, and there a reverse pass from Mees to reach it, and a little bit of confusion there. Gillam chops it away. Big long ball up to Kemp, who jumps underneath it. Nodded into Mees. Kemp spreads it out. Good little turn. Shout of free kick and given. In a very interesting position for Kingborough. Good little turn from Simon Vivarelli there. He just did Moriarty for his body position with strength. It's gone straight through the back of him there, Moriarty, in the end.
Yeah, nicely done by Vivarelli. It's the body expertly. Through the defender straight through the back of him now. It's very much Greg Downs territory. You'd have to think the shot's coming a little bit further out than the one he had in the first half. So
that may be a good thing, though, in terms of like getting that ball down. But yeah, he'll have to hit it with some venom from here to challenge Smith.
and Greg Downs, the Offrey side, a lifeline here in the Lakoseljac Cup quarter-final. They need something. It's Downs. It's never really testing out Smith, who gets across. He did get it down, but sacrifice that power and allowed the Kiwi in. Comfortably dealt with, and now they look to create some problems at the other end of the park. Ali Dullah having a run at Hess. Squares it up. Garrido with a silky touch, and then just skied the finish. Pure silk, the first touch to set the chance, but couldn't quite complete the transaction.
He had more time than he thought here. No real Kingborough defence around him, and he probably could have almost brought that one down, but tried to take it on the volley, and the left foot just kind of skewing away from him. But you'd be worried that from a Kingborough defender's perspective, no one was tighter to him there. Himself in a bit of space, but yeah, again, very classy to take that one down first time. Door looks direct to the shining sunlight here at KG5. Beautiful Hobart day today, actually. Awesome day.
Glorious, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was shocked to see Rowan Gillum donning the cap to try and deal with that sunshine. And Lions 2 goals down. I think a third would certainly kill the contest off if the strikers were to get it. The Lions need to strike, and ideally you'd think in the first 15 or so minutes of this half was...
Yeah, I think if they get it back to 2-1 at any point in this half, they'll at least... that will give them some real confidence and see if they can push for something. A beautiful little turn out of trouble from Hughesloo. It's Varelli's direct ball, and Taylor's offside. Again, nice little bit of combination play. They do often to just look to go fairly long and direct, Kingborough. Again, they're probably just trying to put Devonport under the cosh as much as they can, and avoid turning it over in dangerous positions. But at times can lead to some mistakes and easy kind of mop-ups from Smith and Wilson. Devonport central defence is Othman with some very silky skills as Dollar makes a really good press. Puts it through to Garrido and finding head of Hughesloo. That was a very dangerous little ball through from Garrido. Finding an isolated Mies is becoming increasingly difficult for Kingborough. They do pull back for a handball. Now they flood forward the Lions. Good fake through to Taylor. Cuts it back, and Mies didn't really have the right... I think maybe got caught in two minds about what sort of height that was coming at him. Didn't really go the upper chest and over his hip. It was a great little ball from Taylor, and Dowse and Taylor combining very well there.
It's the difference between Garrido at the other end, isn't it? He brings that one down, gets the chance for himself. He's just unable to there.
Yeah, even if you could just find feed at all, it was an opportunity to kind of square it to the top of the box where he had central midfielders walking in. Great back heel, Dowse with a cross in, and Bidwell heads away. Kobe Kemp shielded it beautifully, and another cross in, but finding Taylor that time.
In product nut there, but they're getting a little bit deeper up the pitch now and getting to the byline flag cross, but they might be opened up at the other end of the park as Garrido storms on in, beats one, and then sliding with Prince somehow gets an effort away. Nearly chips a remarkable goal. Couldn't quite direct it. Othman back there. That would have been something. Zahmed Othman looks to clear the area. Vivarelli just tried to buy the foul, not paid. Still not out of danger here, the Lions. Hughesloo gets into a bit of a mess. That invites in Dennehy. Eventually the flag has been raised to bail out the Lions. It was all a little bit messy at the back there.
And yeah, I guess that's the other thing about Devonport is if you do push too many men forward there, they're a very willing counter-attacking team. They've got some great players in that front 3 or 4. Rana Atkinson, Garrido obviously. Dennehy's a very good counter-attacking player. So the higher you push up, they'll be thinking probably almost more so that they're more of a chance of a goal. But Kingborough will have to just do that. They're just going to have to get players forward and try and get back into this contest. At this point, it's no goal difference. If they lose 4 or 5-0, it's probably just as good as losing 2-0, really. If you, it's probably more disappointing for the supporters in a lot of ways, but
I think they'd be more disappointed if they just sat here tamely at 2-0
absolutely.
and got ground out. You'd rather lose 4-0 going for it and trying to get your way back into the contest.
Yeah, even if they could get a goal or two in that, that's you'd think, okay, at least we've gone for it. We've been able to create something.
No use kind of sitting back passively, as Ali won't be able to get it on this occasion. Strikers seem fairly comfortable in this contest at the moment with a 2-goal advantage. Here's the impressive Bidwell. Cross to Ressig, but he's lost it, and now perhaps a chance for Hess to spring something. He's got Mees and Kemp up in advance of him. He rolls it out to Kobe Kemp. Kemp plays it in behind Mees. It wasn't his best delivery. He might get another chance though. Keenan Douse from distance. The shot was on, but he couldn't quite make the contact he was after. We've seen him do it down the ears, Douse from distance. Didn't quite catch that as he would have liked.
Good power on that shot, but again, just couldn't keep it down from back there. It's hard to kind of get that combination of good power on the ball and direction on it. But again, Kingborough really pushing now. Really good turnover from Hess, and he's made another good challenge there. Taylor cutting in on his left. And Ottman, again, he's got such quick feet, Ottman. If he runs into 2 strikers players, and another attacking challenge from Barton. Douse is on the wing. Dollar's tracked him. Ottman's come all the way over to the other fullback position as Douse gets on his left. And a little bit tame, but Keaton Smith just drops it straight away to his feet. But again, shots on target here for Kingborough. That's an encouraging sign. They're starting to find a little bit more play at the top of the box now. And it'll be a free ball here for Prince, or actually Gillam, and Gillam does deal with it. And they're starting to win the ball a little bit more in this midfield position, and that's a really encouraging side. Again, a very direct ball, really anywhere near a Kingborough player.
Keegan Smith already in time wasting mode here. He will eat up every second he can.
I feel like that's been the trend almost this last one and a half seasons in professional football too, is people very well aware of how much time there is on the clock and how much time they can take off it. And if you can do that without the ball being able to play, that's all the better for it. And a free kick there, Brody Dennehy on the ground.
Just to the chagrin of Tom Prince there, but the striker's ball, and they'll send it up a little bit wide. There was the Murati. It's just not quite on the same page as Linnell Atkinson. Huge loop across the cover. Noah Mees now brought it down straight to a striker's player, although almost invited in is Kobe Kemp. Hasn't got a lot in support here, Kemp, so he's just got to hold up and wait for a little bit to arrive. Does he get the throw? He does in the end. Not much on offer there, Kemp, so does well just get the throw. He presents an option here. It's the man they need to get moving in the second half. I suspect if the Lions are to get back into this, he's been involved in something like 75% of their goals this year, either scoring or assisting on them. He's the man that makes this side tick. Here's Ahmad Othman down the left now, looking to storm in behind Linnell Atkinson, and he puts a cross in. It was a good one. It was dealt with by Wilson.
Great pace on show there by Ottman. Definitely has a lot up his sleeve. Very good control of the ball. Doesn't turn it over a lot. And that was a good little drive in there. But Dula now kind of dealing with a few Kingborough players and just shrugs off the challenge. Great ball out to Denner here on the right wing. Stood up to the back post and just out of range of Greedo for now. But I was able to stop him going out of play. Bidwell just flicking the heels out of trouble. Well done, Taylor. Does find Mees and now releases Kemp into space. He's driving in now. Eli Wilson goes inside into a little bit of trouble. Good tracking back there from Murati in the end. Probably had more space on the outside. Didn't quite see Murati filling in centrally. Again, that was a very nice piece of play. Me just spreading out wide to Kemp. And again, Kingborough finding a little bit more of it. And again, that kind of spreading out wide, finding it in central and then moving it out wide. Really, probably the most effective stuff that I've seen from Kingborough today. So, Hughes Lute. Let's find Kemp. A little bit of trouble. Goes around Bidwell. Does very well to get around it, but Bidwell's very clean tackle in the end. Had to be made. Goes out for a Kingborough corner though.
Kemp just starting to get on the ball a little bit in the last few minutes.
Yeah, much better attacking shape, what they're trying to do. Devonport, very happy to... Well, they're just so good at getting back in their own shape as well, making you look at two players often. Dowse. Well blocked from Brody Dennehy and gets it forward quickly to Duller. So 2-on-2 here for Devonport. We go quickly. Does look for the reverse pass for Gary Doe, who stayed on side just. A lot of space, drives in outside of the boot and saved well by Ron Gillam.
Yeah, they've done well in the end. It developed into a 3v2 situation as Brody Dennehy came storming up a lot quicker than any defender was tracking him, and suddenly it was a 3-on-2. Tough for the defence to cover. Saw the Spaniard skipping into the box. Gillam shutting that down at the near stick.
Superbly timed run from Garrido there. Staying on side in that sort of position is very challenging, and he's managed to do it as Devonport ring the changes now.
Taylor last and Luke Bennett coming on rather. Reesig and Dello, and that just speaks to the depth and quality in this side when you ring Taylor last and Luke Bennett off the bench.
Oh, Lord.
last year's, actually, no, he wasn't the rising star. That kind of blew my mind. He wasn't the rising star, Taylor last, although he was clearly the rising star in the NPL last year. Didn't get the nod for some reason, but mine was the best young player in the league last season, and he strides on now to take this one.
Yeah, and Luke Bennett still finding his feet, I'd say, in the NPL. English import, I'm fairly sure.
Yep.
But he does offer a lot of driving quality, and that's a good... Oh, here he is now, Bennett, and doesn't catch it cleanly. Very good deep ball in there from Devonport strikers, and Gillam caught underneath it a little bit. Othman almost handballed that. He was so quick to pick that up. And yeah, Bennett just coming on with his first touch. Maybe just needed one or two passes just to warm that right boot up.
Scored one of the goals of the year with a lovely volley up at Valley Road early in the season. Did Luke Bennett, showing the quality he has, as Noah Mees now tries to get him behind, but dealing with him was Eli Wilson. Strikes it out to Barton. One ball down the line. Don't connect with anyone, so on past the hour mark here at Devonport. 2 goals to the good.
Yeah,
Same situation they're in last week against South Hobart, although South Hobart had the extra man in that situation. They just couldn't find a way to break down this striker's outfit. It's over to the Lions to try and find a way here.
Yeah, they've just, say, a little bit lucky in the last couple of minutes, maybe not to concede, but before that it was probably Kingborough had the weight of attacking chances and territory at least, and they're back on it again here, so just got to weather that storm from time to time against Devonport and make sure you don't get caught out. See if they can't start fashioning some more of those good opportunities, getting Kemp in those wide areas. Seem to be a good plan.
They've looked better in the second half in an attacking sense, certainly the Lions. Had a few more openings. There's do a pause for a stoppage here, and the Lions will take on some refreshments while we wait for play to resume. The pitfalls of calling off a monitor, not entirely sure what's causing this stoppage. It's back underway momentarily. Freddie Hess using the opportunity to bark out some orders. Hasn't gone to his bench yet. Heap of obvious options. Phil Cansos probably one you could bring on, and that would be the stoppage. It looks like Jacob Hughes struggling with a bit of a knock there. And Ilyan Mastrokola set to replace him. So a centre back for a midfielder, and looks like Jordan Mundy coming on as well. And he will Taylor, I think, being replaced there. No, it wasn't Taylor. Maybe Vivarelli. Lundy for Vivarelli. Huge salute. The centre back goes off. So an attacking move from Freddie Hess. Shuffling his deck as he needs to. They need to find 2 goals in 27 minutes of football here.
Yeah, something needs to happen for Kingborough, and that probably, from coach's perspective, you just got to try and get things moving.
That's got to be a record for fastest yellow card. Mastrokola comes on and within 2 seconds is in the book.
Can't say he didn't deserve it either. It was a fairly obvious challenge there. Maybe a little bit stiff being the first challenge, but Stratos happy to just put that one in the book.
A little over eager to make his mark, a bit exuberant perhaps there.
Sometimes when you think, oh, I've only got half an hour to run out, you're just going to really go for it. And can be a blessing and a curse playing with that much energy. A little bit overly energetic there. That's Devonport now getting on the ball and last. We'll bring that extra element of control to the team. Bennett playing a wider position potentially, or maybe Dennehy's maybe flicked out onto the left actually, and Bennett back into his normal 10. I'll interplay a little bit in terms of positional fluidity, and Bennett on the left wing. Barton. Let's find Dennehy through a very small gap of Lions players. Dow's turning out of trouble and get the line trying to find Kemp. Can't find it. He's Luke Bennett again. Barton just pounding it down the line. Will it hold up for Dennehy? It will not. Interestingly, Devonport haven't really been switching as much from that kind of when it attack down, it comes back out to Barton. He's going straight back down that line. I think with Taylor last in the team, they'll start switching that play a little bit more. Very good pivot and just able to spread the play very well. Impressive young midfielder. His last challenging Ottman and brings that down pretty well. Downs, it's kind of lumping it into midfield. Didn't have the legs on it to get to any of his attacking players. Barton very coolly spreads out wide to Dennehy. Oh. Douse's back pass was to Prince and Gillam. Gillam with a bit of a late call, but well heeded by the Lions centre back. And dealt with okay in the end. A little ball through from Bidwell. Too many legs on it for Brody Dennehy. Devonport now just, again, finding a little bit more of the ball. I guess 2 fresh midfielders in play will just spice up their attacking play a little bit more. Smith, switch of play.
Need a spark from somewhere in the Lions. Last 10 minutes, Devonport will be quite content with the way the game started to play out.
Yeah, it looks like Mastrokola has come back into left back and they've put Offman up at the park a bit. And I think that's probably the right move. He's had when he's been on the ball, he hasn't really done a lot wrong with it. I just want him to get on it a little bit more than he has, or in more threatening positions at least. As Kent driving to that corner. Smith with very good body just to turn him, slows it down and spears up the line. Othman, that more advanced position. And Hess a little bit over eager with that one-touch pass. Dowse. Taylor with the cut inside. Stands it up to the back post where Kemp is waiting and Smith has to make a very important interception and thinks he might have caught one on the leg there.
I think there's too much in it.
No.
He's back to his feet pretty quickly.
Yep. Bounce up and get things moving eventually. Good take though from the striker's keeper, had to be made. Bennett now on the counter-attack.
Challenge had to be made. Nearly slicing through the defence. Now the Lions back the other way. Can they get something going here through Othman again? Just runs into a wall of yellow. They win back possession. Getting the ball just stuck between his feet there. It was Fahim Maradi. Hess under pressure from last. Almost picking his pocket, but it's back to Hess. way back to Gillum, but away from where they need to be here at the Lions. We're halfway through the second half. Need to find themselves 2 goals here. Difficult task against this Strikers team. It's not going to do them any favours.
Downs just sliding back in that centre-back position for when Hugh Slute's gone off injured as well. So, again, a little bit of changing in personnel and maybe a slight shift of mentality there for Downs. Probably the right idea, but overhit in the switch play. Always a hard one to execute from centre-back. You've got to be aware of sorts of midfielders flying in to poach that ball and go down the open side. It ends up going out of play. And Barton and find Garrido.
A tick over 20 minutes left for the Lions. They'll try and build from the back via Greg Downs, which is a long ball straight into the back of Taylor last. Garrido scraping with Downs. Downs gets the decision. They're just killing this game off at the moment. It's professional stuff from the Strikers, grinding their way to another result, having set the win up in the first half. It's just an outfit who knows how to win. The Lions need to find something from somewhere here as Kemp looks it forward, but cut out once more. Bennett now skipping past one. It's Bennett. He could kill the game off. He shot his charge down by Prince and deflects behind for a corner. The fresh legs of Bennett just causing a few problems at the back since coming on.
Yes, that's sort of his MO there, that driving from that central midfield position and quite flick it onto that right foot quick enough, and Prince able to make a very crucial block. I felt like he actually caught that one pretty well. So Devonport will end up having a free kick, corner, and stood up by last. Again, without Mulroney in the team, they just haven't quite as threatening from that set-piece situation today, Devonport. Hasn't really mattered in the end. This is probably because of this man, Garrido. Barton trying to get around Declan Taylor out there. Doesn't end up doing it. And does go out for a little throw-in. Taylor sends it forward. He's been 2-on-1 all day, and that's really a recipe for a tough afternoon out.
So we're going to see some action on the bench here. Phil Kansos set to be introduced. So another attacking move here from the Lions. And Taylor, I reckon, on the far side of the ground there, just going off to be replaced. So like for like there, winger for winger. They'll hope the fresh legs of Kansos and the trickery he can offer might be the key to unlocking this defence. It might just take a moment of magic from Kansos.
Tough afternoon for Taylor in some respects, but he's a young player, and I think he showed that he does have those sparks of quality to him, and he'll learn a lot from a day like today against a very tough outfit to play against. So that's a bit of a late challenge from Garrido. Downs will get up and take his own free kick. But again, he's definitely one for the future, and one to keep an eye on this year in the NPL. Taylor, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. He's been really promising, the flashes he's shown this year. He's been involved in a number of goals, both scoring and assisting, and quite lively. Quite his day today, but certainly someone I think we'll see a lot more of in the coming years down at the Den. So Strokala rolls it through, bombing on his Othman. They find someone in the middle here. Ahmed Othman crosses it up. Couldn't quite find Mies. Kansos swung his leg at it, didn't make contact. Keenan Douse peels off to the right, that's ignored. And here bodies back for the Strikers as they go back to Prince, who launches the diagonal. Out of there though. And now Atkinson will gather it. Rido for Bidwell. Composed stuff, and they'll shift it across to Barton. Looking pretty comfortable for the time being, the Strikers. 2-goal lead here. 1 foot in the semi-finals as they look at Lakoseljac Cup a row. All broken up. They'll keep a hold of the ball. Bidwell to Barton. Now Dennehy allowed to run, but no one behind him, so Downs can reclaim possession. Go to Hess. Othman. Wide, but just asked a little too much there of Mastrocola. Able to regather it. Yeah, Mastrocola. This is a good move with some promise here. Othman with some room. He's got plenty of bodies in the middle. Can he find someone? He can't. It was well shut down. Mastrocola once more. Oh, dangerous ball to the back post. Kansos had just found a pocket of space.
That's how he stood that one up, actually. I thought he was going to shape to shoot, but faked everyone out.
Kansos taking his time on the ball. That's a lovely little reverse pass in for Douse. Just tracked it down, but overran it in the end, and they'll clear. And time starting to become an enemy now of the Kingborough Lions.
Yeah, they've sort of got these half chances today where you see this. They've got to run. They don't have players in front of them, and it's just that little bit of don't really know how to put it. I guess that like it's almost like a click where you think, oh, there's a window there for it, and they just can't quite take that opportunity, or they aren't quite fast enough with the decision making, or Devonport just get players back in front of them. So yeah, it's just again that's that window of opportunity, and so I guess that's the difference between the two teams when it's open and how long it's open for. It seems to be open for Devonport a lot longer at times, but they also do take those chances when they do come. So yeah, Kingborough's some good signs, but yeah, just having a little bit of a challenging time really finishing those off and creating those half chances into full chances. Lana Atkinson weaving his way out of trouble. Or spin from Ottman in a very dangerous position. It's back to Lana Atkinson, but blocked by Downs. Bennett in a bit of space, plays it back to Bidwell. Dennehy is the cross, and Gillen fumbling it, but no real danger around him.
I'm not sure that's the part of the pitch I want the 360 moves to be coming out from Ahmed Othman there. Yeah,
it's one of those fullbacks where he's got so much quality that you think, wow, I'm interested to see why this guy isn't playing further up the pitch, really. But in other ways, it gives you a lot of stability with how good his dribbling is and other aspects of his game, his speed, fitness. Yeah, so that's been pulled back. Dennehy eating a slice of cheese.
Also, all the yellow cards important with the cumulative suspensions that do carry through to the Australia Cup round of 32. We've seen a few players down the journey getting ruled out of those games due to an accumulation of cards in the Lakoseljac Cup stage. Once again, call on FFA to bring in an amnesty before that stage. I do not understand why it's not been in place, but
yeah, it's really stiff on these NPL players in playing against A-League opposition. But more reason not to give away silly yellow cards, I'd say, at least. Speed in to Mees, just off his hip again. Really hard ball to control that. Little speed in one kind of at the midsection, and sometimes that will just plop down at your feet, and just stuck that on the left boot for a shot at goal, but not to be. Devonport, I don't know if they've been super on their game in the second half, but they haven't really needed to be there. At least defensively they have been. Stood up, and Smith taking it. Waiting arms of Strachan.
They haven't set the world on fire, have they? But as you say, they haven't needed to. They've got a 2-0 lead. They just need to see this one out and deny the Lions the goal scoring opportunities to get back into it, and that's largely what they've done. Hasn't been vintage strikers, but it has not needed to be, and they're cutting through the middle here with Fahim Maridi. Punching him was Downs. That was a bit of a crude challenge.
Two really not dangerous, but just kind of poor sliding challenges there by Downs, who does get the sliced cheese, and also Jordan Mundy as well, who didn't find the player or the ball. Probably would have, if he didn't get the ball, would have found a slice of his own. And Maradi, one of those underrated players, I think, in the Devonport lineup. He can just weave his way forward. Very good on the ball. Quite a smart player. It does the simple things pretty well. here we are for another Devonport opportunity. This will be a challenging distance. Looks like Lano Atkinson again, though. His left foot tries to whip it into the top corner and doesn't get any real purchase on it. It floats away.
There's a penchant for the spectacular, though. Nicola now Atkinson.
I never rule it out on his left foot from somewhere like that. He tends to be able to put spin on the ball at will. And that time just skewing off the ball. And he might be dragged for it. No, I'm sure not for that. But he's coming off now. Lano Atkinson with Lockie Van Nugent coming on. Pretty impressive early season for Devonport, across the wings. And Kingborough will be making a substitution as well, with Burley coming on. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong team. I've read that. Toby Moss. Young Toby Moss. I thought it looked like Toby Moss. I've played a lot of football with his older brother, but just wrong side of the sheet there, so I apologise for that one.
He's got 11 minutes to try and make an impact and make himself the hero. The Lions, it must be said, haven't looked particularly likely pulling one back, let alone two, but they can get one. Maybe they'll just spark a little bit of panic. Unlikely in the striker's outfit, but give them a sniff late on, but they're going to need to get that first one shortly. As right now, time is quickly running out on them. Devonport appearing set to progress once again, this magnificent striker's outfit that just keep getting it done in the Lakoseljac Cup. Won 4 of the last 7, I think it is now, something like that. And could be eyeing off another one this year. Is that one easily broken up by Smith?
I wonder if there is going to be a sting in the tail, though. Like, almost feel like Kingborough have deserved a goal today. Like, maybe that's being a little bit with the rose-tinted glasses there, but they've tried very hard today, and I think they've battled pretty well, all things considered. But again, just that clinical side that Devonport are, it's been pulled back for something earlier, or
Bennett following through there, I reckon.
Okay.
Sliding and losing a little control, and into the book he goes. They got 10 minutes here, the Lions. It's just about kitchen sink time. The boys from the den. And Downs produced something here from the dead ball. He launches it long, plenty of bodies up there, but Barton commandingly away. Mundy might find Kansos, who'll now go and give chase. Tries to take it around the outside of Charles Bidwell, but that's no easy task. Play allowed to continue there, and Bidwell eventually clears the area. Keep a hold of the ball nicely. Oh, that's a poor pass. It doesn't really work to Bennett. Mundy surrounded by strikers, so just retreats and then one up into the sky here. Knees will come down off the back of his arm, I think, and in the end, pinballs round and then back to the final third for the Lions. Can Kobe Kemp find something here? Rolls it back to Kansos. That won't do it.
Never looked like it. Just leant back on that one a little bit and gone underneath it. But again, there's the intensity there from Kingborough. They're really trying to push for something here. Only 8-ish minutes to go. Can they get something? Smith ends up sending it forward. That might be a little bit of a gamesmanship tactic there, and then just sends it short anyway, and Smith stayed short. Wilson up the pitch. Psyched out some of the Lions players. Kansos with some hands in the back, not given by the ref. Oh, okay, yep. He was looking for some advantage there. No.
Fair enough, Stratos.
Yeah. Lifted out of the air by Prince. Towed over to Kansos. Trying to get through a wall of 2 Devonport players, and it's turned over, and Van Nugent, who's just come on, drilling forward. Good recovering challenge by Prince. Found Kemp in some space. Righty really running back hard. It's a great ball in from Kobe Kemp. He's just found it, got past his man, and it's saved one-on-one by Smith, and there's chaos in the box with Toby Moss, who's slid the goalkeeper. And it's given a penalty.
Going to need a replay there, I reckon, Alex.
Do know what happened
chaos.
there.
Let's have a look. Mees
Great
first.
opportunity for Mees.
What a save
Great
that was
save
by Smith. And then
Moss gets pushed out of it by Barton. I think that's what's given.
Yeah.
Is there a handball in there too? And then Smith gets rid of it. And then Moss just...
not Smith. Jeez.
Just...
That's what Devonport players are all feeling, but Stratos is going, no, I gave the penalty for the push beforehand.
Yeah, and Stratos is someone who sometimes does need a little bit of thinking time, and I think, for the push there, you can see why he's given it. Geez, a lot happened in that passage of play.
We've probably got the right result, though, which is ultimately what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So, Kobe Kemp, with the opportunity to give the Kingborough Lions a lifeline here, can he give them some late hope? There'll be 6 minutes of regulation left after this one to breathe life into the Kingborough Lions, their talisman, their star, Kobe Kemp. Can he get it done from 12 yards? Keegan Smith stands on the line for the strikers. Big moment here. It's Kemp. It's 2-1, and the Lions have life. A glimmer. Later on, they cut the margin to 2-1. They've got 5 minutes of regulation to do something about it.
Calmly done by Kobe Kemp, but this is setting up for a grandstand finish in a... It's what you want to see in a cup game. 5 minutes to go. Can they push for something, Kingborough? It should be absolutely everything to the wall. Can they get an equaliser and put it into extra time? I think Devonport, they'll feel a little bit, not aggrieved by that, but they've got the goal buffer that they'll just really want to make sure that they can shut the door on this glimmer of hope that Kingborough have found themselves with. It should be a pretty intense last 5 minutes, and Kingborough will be really up and about for this.
Cody Kemp was fired up after that penalty. He was gesticulating at his teammates. Get up, come on boys, let's lift. They got one last push here. Well, that sparked them to life, played into plenty of space, but there was absolutely no one out there but Marati.
Yeah, I think Ottman was supposed to be out there, and he was playing the ball out to no one. He's in the middle. Downs won the ball, but Hess probably stuck his foot in from the wrong angle there. And Devonport will just take this one fairly slowly. Interesting to see how much added time we'll get added on here at the end of the game. So we creep towards injury time.
Shame we don't have Copper on this game. There'd be at least 8 minutes if that were the case. Loves the drama of the cap, Brenton. He would just keep him going, I reckon. Been known to chuck on an added 9 minutes, as this could be the ice. Oh, he's missed. Luke Bennett and a wide open net to ice the game. And I tell you what, they'll want to win it now because that was a glorious chance. Luke Bennett rounds the keeper and inexplicably picks out the side netting.
He did everything right there, Luke Bennett. That's a superb ball from Taylor last too to split the defence. Perfect weight. But the finish. Just lost it there, just a bit too far away from his body. And Kingborough still with that glimmer of hope. And here we go, Mees. 50-50 with Eli Wilson. Oh, not a back down into Mees and cleared off his back and out for a Devonport throw in the end. They'll get the result they were looking for, but gets what he's looking for, but that's a lot of chaos here. That's what you want to see as from a neutral perspective, fans' perspective. So 4 downs, just getting ahead over it, and Greedo turns out of trouble. We head for the corner, he won't. Downs with a foot in. Last, always makes that right decision, pretty much always. Goes in Garrido, goes around Ottman. His body well. Now he looked to hold it up. 3 minutes to play, and Kingborough managed to earn a throw in. And you don't want to end up in one of those endless corner situations where you're the one just booting it out, wasting time. There they go. They'll be able to kill him to at least start the attack quickly. Prince just waiting for his cavalry to arrive. Loops it up to anyone in particular. Barton gives it back to him. Back to the keeper. Interesting, they're not trying to really get it in behind the striker's line. Their midfield presses up. Bidwell maybe a little bit late on that challenge, but happy to get played through. Toby Moss. Flick it through to other Lions player. Gets robbed of it by, that's Van Nuytgen. He's come on. Into last. Ball to Dennehy. Oh, it's a very good challenge by Mastrocola. That was another great ball from last. Cannoning in there and fell over. Just showing that quality of weight of pass. Just found Brody Dennehy's chest, I guess, with plum.
He's played 4 or 5 of them since coming on time last. He's just super to watch, this kid. As I said, mind was blown when he didn't win the Rising Star last year. I'm just so impressed every time I see him play.
Yeah. I'm just a big fan of the Devonport defensive midfield, Bidwell and Last. They're such a good combination together. Complement each other well, defend well, attack well. Both young players too. Long careers ahead of them. But a free kick here. It's not long to go, so should be a Celtic ball into the box here. Kingborough, can they fashion an opportunity out of it? Again, Kieran Mulroney out of the team this week. They have looked a little bit suspect from some of these set pieces. Well, it does find a Kingborough head in Prince, but not enough purchase, and Smith, no, very calm style of his. He just wasted an extra couple of seconds before sending it out of play.
We're now into additional time. That's all the Lions have left. Can they find something like dig deep here? Pull a goal out of the locker. Strikers just a couple of minutes away from yet another Cup semi-final. But it's the Lions down the right here. The cross will come in. Prince playing now as an auxiliary centre forward. And why not? It is well and truly kitchen sink time.
Yep. Send everyone forward.
Flooding bodies forward. Kansas with the throw. Can they find a way to unlock them? He looks for the chest of Mees. Mees juggling the ball.
He's done well to get out of trouble.
Turning onto the left. His shot blocked away and the area cleared. Smashed out of there. Rowan Gillum. Slightly loose pass that might be seized upon. Smith rolls it through for Fernandez Garrido. He knocks it back and now Bidwell with it. Bidwell.
Yeah, smart play just to calm it down here. They've got to take time off the clock. Van Nuytgen. Oh, it's a decent ball, but no one there for him. But gives Kingborough another opportunity. Ottman has got to go for it now. He's running forward. It's played well up the line to Mees. Not given.
Surely. Look at our stream picking, just an awful time to just start lagging like all hell here. It wasn't paid. Wow. I reckon a little bit unlucky there. We had the slow motion view, admittedly.
Yes. That was hand well away from the body, but potentially Stratos didn't see it or just think that was way too close for him to move it out of the way. You probably see that given at other levels of football, potentially, but in some ways, as a player, you like the leniency. Is Toby Moss in here? Oh, he speaks everyone, but spinning in. Just weird spin on that ball. Again, you've got to just make sure you're shutting the door on those ones from Devonport point of view.
He had 3 to beat there, Moss, and he did pretty well to get a shot away, but the Strikers will take more seconds off the clock here. Will the Lions get one last look at it? What is their race run? Devonport on the precipice of progressing to the Final Four yet again. They've been so good in this competition in recent years. They're not far away now. Kobe Kemp, can he produce a moment of magic for his side? He can't, he just puts it behind.
Spin on that one. Probably not a bad decision at all, but his execution didn't quite come off. But Ottman, Murati, it's an unfortunate little nick off the foot from Ottman. Devonport will just send that one forward. A lot of yelling from the crowd. Not really exactly sure what's happening. This is just a very physical challenge.
There's full time. Stratos Plumeritas brings proceedings to an end as we jump forward about 15 seconds. I think the audio was just out, which is what the crowd was going there, but We've come to the end here, and the Devonport Strikers advance with a 2-1 victory set up in the first half. A pair of goals, Roberto Fernandez-Garrido and Ali Dullah. Kobe Kemp gave the Lions some late hope when he struck from the penalty spot, but ultimately, for mine, Devonport, good value for the win. They did enough. They professionally saw it out. Slight hiccup at the end, but they had the 2-goal buffer. Too good, too strong, through to yet another semi-final, this incredible Strikers outfit.
Yeah, they're definitely the team to beat in both the NPL and the Cup. Pretty good performance all around. For the first half in particular was very good, and the second they just did what they had to. As I'll say all the time, they're such a clinical team, they're a motivated team. You're going to have to really play your best football to beat them. And Kingborough had some passages of play where they played very well, and others just struggled to get on the ball, and some interesting decisions to be made. But 2-1, I think a fair result in the end there.
Dullah setting up Garrido, and then returning the favour was the Spaniard, flicking it through for Ali Dullah just before half-time to double the advantage. Beautiful finish that, never in doubt. That made it 2-0, and from there that was a lead they could really sit on. And for much of the second half, the Lions didn't really create chances. They've had some dangerous balls into the area, but struggled for clear-cut chances. They would get a penalty right at the end here, as Barton was penalised for a little shove there. That late lunge there from Toby Moss drew the eye of the Strikers. The penalty decision had already been blown. Up stepped Kemp, but ultimately just a little too late for the Lions. They are out at the final 8 stage. Devonport march on through, where they will join Hobart United, the other team, through to the final 4 after they rolled Riverside. Soon to come, we have the Italian Derby, current Zebras and Launceston City up in the north. And tomorrow, Glenorchy Knights taking on South Hobart. So 2 spots for those 2 sides. How do you see those two games playing out, Alex?
Well, Clarence and City played last week, which is a interesting kind of backdrop to that game, but I've been pretty impressed with City all year. That one could really go either way, and I would tip a draw in NPL, but it can't happen in Cup football. Tomorrow's game, again, that could probably go either way. I think Knights have been playing some better football at the moment. They've been getting some good results, so that'd be the 2 that I'd go for. But yeah, it should be a fascinating into this Cup competition. We've got the one Cinderella story, and we've got the Old Faithful in Devonport. We'll see what happens.
We will indeed, but that will be all from us here this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. A couple more live streams headed your way this evening, with the Launceston v Zebras clash from Buckby Motors Park and the Kingborough Lions Clarence Zebras in the Women's Statewide Cup. I hope you enjoy them. But from us, it's bye for now.